Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Cam Center. Before I tell you the special guest, I'm Cameron. I'm here with my other co-host Caleb, and we have a really special guest here, Cowboys legend Don Meredith,
No, he never
back
played for the
from
Cowboys.
the
Don't.
back from the
No.
grave, dusting off his Super Bowl ring. He's here. He's live. He's better than ever. Don Meredith, how are you doing?
I am great. And let me just correct you, I didn't have a Super Bowl ring. I was back in the day whenever it was next year's champions.
I see. I see. Well, thank you for correcting me, Don Meredith. Thank
No
you.
problem. No problem.
Caleb, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, but last time I checked, I'm pretty sure my dad never played for the Cowboys. Because if he did, I probably wouldn't be living in an apartment.
You never know. I might have used it to smoke something and lose all my money. So
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But let's jump right into the action. And we have since we have Don Meredith here, we're going to do our playoff predictions. Don Meredith, why don't you go first and tell us who you think is going to make the playoffs?
I think, let's see, from the NFC, I think it's going to be Seattle, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Green Bay, San Francisco, and Atlanta. From the AFC, I'm going to go Denver, Indianapolis, New England, Cincinnati, Houston, and San Diego.
So you really think that the Falcons are going to bounce back?
I think so. I think well, I mean, it's obvious as long as Julio Jones stays healthy. If he gets hurt again, then they're going to be toast again. But as long as he stays healthy, I do think they'll make the playoffs. I've got him as the number 6 seed, so they're going to be the last wild card in. But yeah, I think so. It's sad to say my Cowboys, I think, are going to be worse than they were last year.
See, I don't know. The Falcons have that even bigger problems on defense. They don't even need to worry about the offense. I don't even know what the catastrophe that is known as Atlanta. I don't know what they're doing. But Caleb, why don't you go ahead and give your predictions?
Okay, well, from the NFC, I got Washington, Green Bay, Carolina, Seattle, Atlanta, and San Francisco. And from the AFC, I've got New England, Baltimore, Houston, Denver, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City.
Nice choices. Nice choices. I don't know about the Texans.
I have faith in the Texans for some reason.
They have a good defense. I'm not sold on the offense just yet.
I don't know. See, I think the Houston's are I think they're a big underdog for this season. I think they have the chance.
Well, if they would have drafted Johnny Manziel, then they probably win the Super Bowl.
Oh, no.
Because Johnny Manziel is the future of the NFL.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I want the Mud
hope
Dogs
wrong.
to win the Super Bowl.
But wait a minute, Don Meredith, you have some words about Johnny Manziel.
I think he's either going to be the greatest thing ever, or he's going to be the biggest bust ever. I think he has. It just depends on if he stays. I think if he stays healthy, he can probably light up the whole league. It just depends on if he can handle getting beat up, because he's going to get hit.
So
Same thing happened to Robert Griffin III had the same problem in his second year.
okay. Let's not compare bad acne Robin Griffin III to the purebred known as Johnny Manziel. Here's the problem with Robin Griffin III. First of all, he needs to put on some weight. That's why he's got it. He thinks I'm going to come in here the size of an Olympic runner and be a star in the NFL. No, Robert Griffin III. No, go get some
Well, that's
proactive
true. That's
and go
absolutely
eat some chicken. And that did not. I didn't mean for that to come out as racist.
Cameron, is this the part of the show where we make sure everyone knows you're black, so
Yes,
it's not
I am
as
black.
offensive?
But let's move on from the racism.
Hey, he could always do a show. He could always do a show as the lookalike for Andre 3000.
That's true, but he would not be as cool as Andre 3000 is.
Well, that's true too.
But I'm going to go ahead and give my predictions. From the NFC, I have the Packers, the Saints, the Eagles, the 49ers, and wild card Seahawks and Panthers. And the reason I put the Seahawks as wild card is because they have a lot of away games, and unlike last season, they won most of their games at home. I'm not sold on them away. I'm just not.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't know how they're going to come out as far as being hungry, and if the winning the Super Bowl has got them a little bit softer, and everybody's going to give them their best shot.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't know. And for the AFC, I have the Ravens, the Colts, the Patriots, the Broncos, and for wild card, I have the Chiefs and the Bengals.
See, I almost put the Bengals as my wild card as well.
I have a small passion for the Bengals because I'm a really big Andy Dalton fan. I I know a couple family members of mine played for TCU's football team, so big fan
Oh,
of
I
them.
gotcha.
So yeah. But moving on, does anybody have any last words on the playoff predictions?
Well, basically, do you want me to go all the way to the Super Bowl?
Sure, we can do that. I didn't plan on it, but sure.
Okay, my full going all the way to the Super Bowl because Cameron, I know you're going to tear me a new one with this. I said the Super Bowl is going to be Seattle and New England.
Okay, please defend New England.
They've got Tom Brady.
They had Tom for 10 years.
Has that helped them since 2004?
Exactly.
Okay, can't I just be biased? Let's just say I was being biased. I always think the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's a typical Patriots fan for you.
Oh. At least I'm not one of the dumb Patriots fans.
You aren't, and that's true. Dandy Don, do you want to give your
Yes.
Super Bowl predictions?
My Super Bowl prediction is San Francisco and Denver.
San Francisco and Denver. That's a really good choice. Mine, I'm going to be really biased here. The Saints and the Ravens.
That is the most biased. Those are your two.
Those are my two, and
And I can see, I could see it, so it's not that far of a stretch.
As long as Ray Rice stays out of elevators.
yes, as long as he stays out of elevators, the Ravens have a really good shot at it.
He'll take the stairs from now on.
Hopefully.
Uh,
But now that we're done with that, let's move on to some. Now that we spoke about Johnny Manziel. The Browns named their quarterback starter, and it's not Johnny Manziel, it's Brian Hoyer, the starter from last year. Caleb, how do you feel about that?
I think it's not the best decision, but I think it's a safe decision because I think they wanted to test the waters with Manziel before thrusting him as the starter. So I understand why they're doing it. So you never know. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wasn't a starter, and then he became one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Okay. Well, you can't compare the situation in Green Bay to the one in.
Okay, I'm not comparing Cleveland to Green Bay as far as quarterbacks. I'm just saying if you look at it, Aaron Rodgers wasn't a starter. And once he became a starter, he got them a Super Bowl, as much as it pains me to talk about the Packers winning a Super Bowl.
oh, God. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
But Manziel, I think, because it's like, my dad was saying, Don John, I don't know what to call him on this. I have no idea what I'm supposed to call him, but, it's like he's either going to be the best thing ever or he's going to be the biggest flop ever. So it's the safe decision to not have Manziel start.
Dandy Don, do you want to give your opinions on this?
Well, back in my day, we had to sit around for a few years before they even gave us a shot. But anyway, I think obviously they're going with the safe shot. They know that they kind of know what they have in Brian Hoyer, so they want him to go in there. And if he stinks it up, then they throw Manziel in there because it's going to happen. If he screws up, the fans are going to want him in there anyway. They're going to have the pressure of getting him in there. So at some point, he's going to be the starting quarterback. And it's probably going to be sooner than later.
I'm going to give a prediction right now. What happened with Tim Tebow and the Broncos is what's going to happen with Johnny Manziel in Cleveland. The Browns are going to stink it up for the first 8 games. They're going to throw Manziel in, and he's going to take them to the Super Bowl, and he's going to win it.
That would be interesting.
That would be something.
I don't think the world would be ready for that. That's just
The Browns in the Super Bowl, I don't think anyone's ready for that concept.
I don't think ESPN could handle it.
No one is ready for Johnny Football, okay? He's the star that we need, but not the one we deserve.
Don't compare him to Batman.
He is Batman. He's Bruce Wayne.
I thought LeBron James was Batman.
No. He's
No.
a Batwing. For
Remember,
obvious
Skip
reasons.
Bayless
Oh
said
my
it properly.
god. Well, Dwayne Wade is apparently Bruce Wayne, so I don't know. Does that make Chris Bosh Alfred?
Sure, why not?
Isn't he Johnny Cleveland now anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what name he's going by nowadays.
They're selling shirts that say Johnny Cleveland.
Are they going to burn those when he opts out?
Right?
Probably. Ohio is a silly place.
But they're a silly place, but they have some pretty cool things.
I guess The Miz came from Ohio.
So did Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, let's not get crazy here.
Okay, but now that we've moved on from the Browns talk, let's talk about Caleb's boy, Robert Gronkowski. He was left out of joint practices. Where's his health at? The Patriots, as always, are keeping a lot of things hush-hush. They aren't putting a lot of things in the media. What do you expect, Caleb, as a Patriots fan? What are you expecting from Gronkowski?
Well, Gronk is my boy. I love him. He's not Tom Brady, but I love him. I think he's good. It depends. I mean, I don't think he's going to play in every game this season. He's definitely not going to play in every game. But I think, I don't know. I'm really torn because I think he's either going to miss a lot and then not be 100% when he does play, or he's just going to miss a little bit and he's going to be great when he plays. But I couldn't, like, it's the difference between if he misses too much, I think he'll be at like maybe 65, 70%. But if he doesn't miss that much, I think he'll be at 95%.
Okay. Until they actually get good receivers and probably another tight end, because they have a great running back in Stephen Ridley, the big guy from LSU. So I'm probably a little biased with him. But until they get some more receivers and probably another tight end, he's going to get banged up a lot because he's Tom Brady's only option.
Yeah, exactly. So there is that as well, where he could miss a couple, get back, and then he could hurt himself pretty badly again. So you never know the wear and tear that's going to happen to Gronk this season.
Yeah.
No.
Don Meredith,
Yes.
you want to give your opinions on it?
It seems like the Patriots have been the last few years have been unlucky, as lucky as they were the first few years that Brady was a quarterback. Now they're starting to get the luck turns the other way, and things are going the opposite way. And every time they get somebody good in there, it seems like they get hurt. And he just seems like he can't stay healthy. And if you can't stay healthy, you're not any good to the team. So, I mean, it's not his fault sometimes. Well, I guess sometimes it might be, but but most of the time it's not their fault. But that just happens, and it's the luck of the game.
Or their luck gets shot down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had a lot of luck the first few years.
Yeah, it's almost like someone is murdering their luck. That's a bad Aaron Hernandez joke.
I knew that was a Hernandez joke.
That was a bad Aaron Hernandez joke. But going off from football, we're going to go to some basketball now. And Paul George destroys his leg. It's a really gruesome looking injury. It's the same thing that happened to the guy from Louisville last year or a couple years ago, whenever that happened.
That was last year.
Last year, okay. Yeah, I don't follow college basketball, so honestly, I have no clue when it.
I unintentionally watch almost every game, and I don't mean to.
But Caleb, do you think he's going to be the same player?
After that injury, not for a while. Dude, that injury is one of the most fucked up injuries I've ever seen. I don't think... It all just depends, man. It's like whenever your leg break... Like, what is the official injury? Did his leg break?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever... it's just one of those things where I think he'll be walking with a limp for a good while. So the question if he plays, or if he's even able to play again at this point, is I don't know if he'll ever be able to be half the player he was. I think it's too devastating of an injury. I think it almost looks better than the injury we saw last year, like this.
Yeah. Um, it, it's really honestly the one thing I can think of that could come from this injury is Kevin Durant put some weight on, man. Cause
Oh my god.
this, I'm not making fun of him. I'm being serious. Kevin Durant, you're the number 2 player in the league. You got to put some weight on because that could easily happen to you.
That's a good point. And the last thing I need is my boy Durant breaking legs in half.
Well, if he finally plays Lil B will break his legs. But
Little bit. He ain't playing Little B.
uh, Dandy Don, you want to give your
Yeah,
opinions on this?
yeah, sure. That was one of the worst injuries I've ever seen at all, and I mean it kills pretty much kills the Pacers for next year for any kind of for him to come back. I mean, it'll probably be a couple of years before he can. I mean, he's going to be out of basketball for a year, and it's probably going to take that whole next year probably just to get back into shape and get back into basketball playing. So it's going to be at least a couple of years, and so the Pacers are pretty much toast for a couple of years.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of because we all know the duo that was Paul George and Lance Stevenson is basically over. Lance Stevenson went to the Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets, and Paul George is out for no one knows how long. The only thing I could think of is a possible trade for Andrew Wiggins from the Timberwolves. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really the only thing I could think of that could save this team
yeah,
because
that's possible.
yeah,
I don't think they're playoff contenders anymore.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. They were barely playoff contenders with just Paul George, but now that this happens, I don't know. But moving on, so we're talking about Kevin Durant. Let's talk about him now. He
Yes.
opts out of the United States team. He said to rest his body and mind. Sounds like he's chicken and he doesn't want to break his leg.
See, my boy KD. The thing with him is he's a very. I'm not going to bullshit my way out of this. He's probably just being kind of weird with it. I just think he doesn't feel like playing right now.
Yeah,
After the loss to the Spurs, I wouldn't want to play for a while either.
he's resting his mind because he knows until he plays Lil B, he'll never win NBA championship.
Maybe it's
So,
Little B who's scared.
no, I think it's Kevin Durant who's afraid of Lil B. But giving my opinions on this, like I said, I just think he's probably being a little weird about this. Like Caleb said, he doesn't want to hurt himself. You see the risk. I don't know. Uh, Don John, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think he's just opting out because he doesn't want to get hurt. And I think I don't know. I've always questioned his. He's a great basketball player, but I've always questioned his killer instinct whenever it comes to the game. And I just think that's I don't think the main guys in basketball I mean you go back to the '92 Olympics and those were all the best players, and all of them had the best. Almost that whole team was filled with guys that had killer instinct.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm still just curious about Kevin Durant. As much as Caleb tries to convince me about him, I'm still just unsure about him.
He's the real MVP.
Okay, whatever you say.
No, I don't think he has the killer. I don't know if if you can get it. I don't know how anybody can actually. I don't think you can teach it. I think you either have it or you don't. And I just don't know that he does. I mean, he reminds me of the old, like Dominique Wilkins and those guys who were really good, but they never could get over that. Just being the scorer and just being, having awesome highlights.
Yeah, you brought up a really good comparison. Yeah, yeah. But moving on from this, Kevin Love. It has been known for a while that he's probably going to be traded to the Cavaliers. It finally happens. The Cavaliers trade Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett, and next year's first round draft pick for Kevin Love. Caleb, how do you feel about this?
They got Kevin Love and LeBron now. So Cleveland is now playoff contenders. They're going to the playoffs this year.
Don't forget Kyrie Irving. He's the best
Oh.
point guard in the league.
That's true. I forgot about him. So Cleveland, that's what they're doing. Is they're 100%. Cleveland is building back up. They want the playoffs. They want LeBron. They wanted Kevin. Now they're going there. That's the best way I can say. And the Timberwolves now lose probably their best player.
Yeah, and there's also been reports of Ray Allen wanting to get MRIs on his knees, and he could possibly land in Cleveland. He said if he's able to play, that he's going to Cleveland. So that could even be an even bigger addition, some maturity to the team.
Yeah, Cleveland's building a championship team. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Oh yeah, and they're doing it better this time around, not getting 35-year-old plus players just around LeBron, who's going to burn out by the time it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm looking at you, Shaquille O'Neal, and Antoine Jameson. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But Dandy Don, you want to give your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think they're contenders for the East, although it's going to be tough because you still have, if Derrick Rose comes back, then Chicago's going to be really tough, and you still have, top of that, I can't even think who I was thinking off the top of my head. Never mind. But anyway, Chicago is going to be tough, but I think they're going to be contenders. I don't know that they can beat anybody in the West, but I think they'll be contenders in the East.
Yeah, it's a little bit too early to tell just how the team's going to look. But who knows? They could be the next NBA champions, for all we know. Or they could be a big flop and the team could be horrible with zero chemistry.
As long as it's not the Spurs. That's all I ask.
You look at the Lakers, a couple of years ago, last year when the Lakers were supposed to be, with Pau Gasol, Dwight Howard, and Kobe Bryant, and that just kind of flamed out.
Yeah, so
you never know.
Who knows what could happen. I want to thank Don Meredith for coming back from the grave and being on Cam Center.
You're welcome. It was great to be
here. You're welcome. Caleb, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I wasn't aware that my dad was dead at one point.
Well,
this is new. He's alive now. I guess that's all that matters. No, I don't have any final thoughts, at all. Except, I don't know where Kevin Durant's head is, but he's gonna find it.
Well, it's somewhere in a jar in Little B's living room.
That makes no. Wait, Little B has Kevin Durant's physical head in his living room. I don't think that's possible.
Yes, this is Futurama. Yes.
Don't make that reference.
I'll make all the Futurama references I want. But anyway, the Cam Center's come to a close for this week's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your comments below on what you think of any of the topics we discussed. I'm Cameron. That's Caleb. That was our special guest, Don Meredith. And we'll see you next week.